Now, I think Britain had a big election. Mm-hmm. Some of you may know this. And Keir Starmer, bad name.
Weird name.
That's a bad name.
Keir.
However, he says online, he says, listen, to carve out time with my kids, I will not do a work-related thing after 6 o'clock. Pretty well come what may.
There you go. All right.
Some of the other guys have gotten involved saying, listen, I've never finished work at 6 p.m. We deserve more than a part-time prime minister. Now, these new generations of prime ministers.
These millennial prime ministers.
And you know what? Joe Biden has the same thing. He says he doesn't want to work after 6. These guys, I think they're trying to appeal to the women where they're just like work-life balance is so important.
Yeah.
These guys do not have a hustle mindset. You shouldn't be running a...
No, they're going to come out on the other side looking the same that they did when they went in.
He's going to look younger.
They're not going to be all aged.
Well rested. Heaven forbid. And it is a problem because, there's a lot of articles that have kind of come out these days. And this is the big push is being like, vote for us and we'll get you this deal as well.
Sure.
Like you should. They actually have a thing. Like if you message one of your employees in Britain after 6 p.m., you get 10 years in jail.
It's fair.
They're very aggressive laws, which I do get. You don't want to be fucking badgered nonstop, but there is a middle ground where it's like sometimes might come up.
Yeah, sometimes a national emergency occurs because you're the Prime Minister of England.
The guy's sleeping while you're working. Legitimately.
Yeah, man.
And it is definitely, what's making me laugh is like just being in the world like a hustle mindset because sometimes, I'll tell you, politics never get me like fired up. There's very little that gets me fired up. The only thing is like the odd alpha male thing will catch me where it'll be like, you should be working and I'll be like taking a day off and I like watch one video and I'm just like, what the fuck am I? I'm a fucking sheep, man. Yeah. It was like, some of us don't take days off and I'm just like on the...
some of them are like, I don't know my kids' names. Spend time with my kids.
It does get me though. I'll be just like I'll do anything. I'll just be like I'll be like, what? I'll take 5 minutes off, take a walk, you get one hustle, and then you go, what the fuck am I doing? Or like
punching yourself in the face.
But why?
Is this grinding? Does this count?
Watching any 90s movie, because every 90s movie back in the day was just like the CEO with his family, and then he realized it's cheaper by the dozen. There's a whole bunch of them, right? But they realized that the work wasn't, the most important thing.
Yeah.
But this is like... and generally, the guy's like the most high-power guy at this huge finance firm. They got millions... You're really watching a movie about a guy doing the biggest corporate blunder in history.
Sure, yeah. There's no sequel where they're like, the company went under. They were acquired by a Korean outfit.
They're homeless now. It is funny, like watching a movie like that with your girl and just getting like pissed, like you're on the side of this the company. You're like, what are you doing? This kid's dead weight. You can't tell?
Yeah, I didn't know we were watching a horror film.
Look in the mirror. That's your competition.
Yeah, this movie's about the murder of shareholder value. Jesus.
Saying that the kids are holding you down. Yeah, you're on the boss's side. You're like, his phone's running. You're like, fucking answer, man.
Answer it, dude.
Answer the call,
it's a big M&A deal going on.
Yeah, this guy's just watching the company go to shit so he can go to a children's softball game.
Yeah.
I promise you, your kid's gonna be happy when he has the trust fund versus what his dad in the stands cheering him on while he fucks the dog at baseball.
Yeah, it is weird too because you see some kids and they're like, "Yeah, my dad never came to any of my games and I'm fucked up because of it or whatever." And like, I don't know, my dad came to like a couple. It was fine.
Yeah, it
never bothered me.
You know what the problem is though?
I mean, he paid so that I could do it.
That is true.
Yeah.
But there's also a second part where, the oldest thing in the book is if you want something done, give it to a busy person.
Yeah.
People will say a lot of times this idea that there's like the corporate dad that's really not involved in the sports of the kid or whatever. A lot of times it's actually the opposite. The guy who was like the overachiever, like corporate dad, that's often the guy who was like, like the tiger dad almost.
Oh, yeah.
He's at you're like, oh yeah, he didn't come to the game because he's too busy. It's like, no. That guy's at the game screaming at the ref.
Yeah, and he's like, Dad, can I have a catch? And he's like, yeah, but I got to do a meeting at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, he's like on the headset, and he's putting on mute to yell at you, being like, "What are you? Eye on the ball!"
Yeah, that's exactly who that is.
Yeah.
So These politicians, they're taking a day off and they're looting and plundering you. In New York, New York Trash Can Initiative cost the city $4 million in consultants. So
McKinsey, yeah, they hired literally to get like some 24-year-old like MBA student to be like, hey, you guys have a problem with rats. Have you considered putting your trash in bins?
if you work for this
tough trash city, by the way, this is a tough trash city. Like if you ever know, like you sometimes you'll have garbage in your hand and you'll be walking around and you go, there's nowhere to even throw this.
Obviously,
you go, yeah, I have to throw this in the street.
I mean,
no option.
I throw it in the street out of spite.
I go, what am I paying for? I'm paying for all this shit. I'm getting my money's worth.
And a lot of time the trash cans are overflowing, but I don't need to pay $4 million to understand that's the problem. Like, legitimately look outside and you're like, you know, there's trash on the street. It's like, oh, that's the problem. The bin's overflowing.
Sure. I want to know what their other options were other than bins.
I think what they do is they're like, let's give everyone Velcro, and then they can put Velcro on their trash. And we'll make all the walls made of tennis ball material, so you can take your trash, attach it to some Velcro, and put it on the wall.
You don't get that idea for $4 million, Ryan. That's a little pricier idea right there.
How about this? $5 million, helium balloons on every corner, and then every time you're done with your trash, you grab one of the helium balloons and then tie it to your trash.
I like that. And then the best part is it floats over to some shitty country where it finally pops. Country. Yeah, like pops over in like Ecuador or something. Sorry, Ecuadorians.
Ecuador.
Or China or something. China's a better one.
That being said, I would love to be the consultant in this thing, but these people are blowing money like sailors right now.
Yeah, for like just obvious ideas too. It's not like some out of the box thinking. They go, hey, bins. Now,
bins.
Good luck.
They came up with garbage cans for $4 million.
Yeah, good luck like putting that into practice, because New Yorkers that is like the New York ethos of just taking your garbage and just dropping it out of your window of your 5-floor walk up, because you're like, I'm not going walking 5 flights.
You drop garbage out of your window?
Yeah.
What?
No, I don't drop garbage out of my window, Ryan, but people do that. I'm a civilized
person. You drop
person.
garbage out of your window? That's fucking next level if you're just done with it.
No, you bag it up.
You throw the bag up
the whole bag, I mean, if you have a good arm, like it usually just lands.
Oh, like you see the pile of trash out there.
Just from the top window, you just go down below.
That's a ballsy move.
You don't remember The Simpsons when he goes to New York City? He's like, I hate New York City. He's walking around, people just emptying trash on his head.
Throwing trash out the window is fucking hilarious.
But people are like, yo, use the bins. And they're like, nah, dog.
But these guys, their bodies are just getting greased, man. Being a politician's body,
is McKinsey.
I do understand, obviously, why you'd convince your buddy to run for politics. You're like, if you ever have a buddy that's like running for any office and he's about to win, you better start some bullshit company that does nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, McKinsey's not some bullshit company, but again, you're like, there's nobody who works for the city of New York who could just come up with that idea. Like, you had to outsource this.
That's the whole thing.
Like, these are the laziest people who do fucking absolutely.
Who's in charge of the garbage?
Like, isn't there a sanitation department who could have come up with that idea?
Their minds are fucking blown. They're looking at the trash cans. They're looking at the trash. They're looking at the trash cans. They're looking at the trash. They go, we're gonna need some money to hire people.
It's probably because it's a union, and they're like, hey, they went to the sanitation department. They're like, hey, we're looking for something, and they go
601.
It's not part of our job. You go, it's not part of your job. Figure out where. No, they go, we just collect the trash. That's the city's job to figure out where to put the trash.
Yeah, if you want me to think,
we don't get paid for that. Next year at the bargaining table, we can maybe negotiate how we put the trash and stuff.
You're right. Yeah, we're coming up on a year. We can have a union meeting where if you want to, and also you're gonna have to pay for that meeting. It's gonna be pricey. You're gonna fly us in.
You're gonna have to pay for every sanitation worker's like increase in cost of living for this.